Boy, not much holding those frets in. So when the crowns flatten out on top like that, it's not just that the guitar buzzes and you have difficulty sort of getting a grip on the string with the left hand or the fretting hand, but more importantly, it really throws the intonation out the window because the strings are not fretting in the center of the crown, and that's the way the whole guitar scale's designed. So we're putting these 9055 EVO frets in. I get those from the good people there in New York at Jess Carr. This is going to make a huge difference because the EVO fret wire actually wears about 5 to 1 compared to the your standard fret wire. Now, because this fingerboard is so thin, there's no way you want to start leveling that fingerboard. We're going with a 5590, 55 thou high, 90 wide fret wire, because whatever leveling we do is going to need to come out of the real estate of the crown of the fret, because you do not have the thickness in that rosewood to correct anything. This is an INCRA rule. Now, one of my students in the guitar repair design classes, Chuck, who's an aviation engineer, showed up at class with this thing. It's the perfect tool to check your depth of slot. Even though this is a Tokai neck, it's actually much like the vintage Fenders, where the actual rosewood is a veneer that matches a curved surface of maple on the underside. On the last refret, they went right through the rosewood down to the maple. I can see the maple in the slot up here. So I'm just cleaning this out. I'm not deepening them. I'm just taking out whatever adhesive was used last time. Yeah, so I can hold that up to the underside of the crown. I can see that we're at the second line here. Then I drop it into the slot and I can check it again. I can go right across that slot and get 100% verification before I put those frets in. That's what I love about this tool. It was about $10 Canadian. I got that at a place called Busy Bee here in Canada. I don't know if you have that franchise down in the States, but it's an INCRA is the company. And thank you, Chuck, for tipping me off to this tool. I've been using it constantly ever since you took the classes. Cheers. So this gives you an idea of the difference in profile between the new EVO fret wire, which is 55 thou high, and the frets that were in there, which you can see are flattened right out. My customers always ask me, well, what's the difference, between like an old fret and a new fret? When the frets get worn down that much, the string wants to slip right out under your fingers. So in one word, the difference between the old frets and the new is traction. All that left-hand fingerboard gymnastics, trills, hammer-ons, vibrato, bends, pull-offs, you get way more traction and you'll notice it immediately. What you see here is my rough cut. That's how tight to the edge of the fingerboard I like to get the frets on the initial install. So we're basically reducing the resistance to the tooling force of the file dramatically by bringing those frets very close. And I also polish the ends. So, I go to great lengths to make sure that those frets that are beautifully seated in there do not lift in any way, shape, or form. The amount of resistance on that file is pretty minimal. So now we're ready to actually level the frets. This truss rod actually had quite a bit of load on it, so before I went to level, I needed to pull the neck off, back the truss rod off, and get the lay of the neck as straight as possible before I started the level crown and polish. Now we'll just lightly breeze over the frets along the trajectory of the string path. And you can hear there's like no resistance whatsoever. Right out of the gate, they're almost dead level. We didn't even take enough anywhere on there to warrant using a crowning file. We'll switch right over to the sanding block with the increasingly finer grits of abrasive. Got our auger file here, and just get those outside edges on the bevel very quickly, just one stroke. This guitar is good for many years to come. It'll take Rico a few years to wear through this EVO. Cheers.